What's up? This is Jono from Bloom. You're listening to May the Rock Be With You.
There we go. G'day, Jono. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome to May the Rock Be With You. First time we've spoken, so it's always a pleasure when this happens.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same. Now, you guys have been around for a little while, but for someone who may not have heard of Bloom, how would you best describe the band and your music for someone?
Mm. We are a metalcore band with roots in melodic hardcore. We write very sort of emotional, heart on your sleeve music. We have a little bit of something for everyone, I think. Especially with our newer releases, we do a lot more in sort of the emo alternative stuff, and we do really big breakdown music as well. So I think if you're a heavy music enjoyer, there's something to like that we do.
Excellent.
I
That's the
hope.
poster. A heavy metal, heavy music enjoyer. I like
Yeah.
that. Now, we are here for a couple of reasons. Firstly, let's talk about the tour you got coming up. So, talk us through a Bloom live show and what people can expect on this tour.
I think Bloom live shows are where we pride ourselves the most. We have been touring for quite a while, and especially last year we had such a non-stop. I think we played 85 shows last year, and we did 44. We did Europe into the UK into America all in this one chunk of dates. Played 44 shows, and that was such a really it was a great experience for a whole bunch of reasons. But I think one thing that I'll hold on to is it's such a good learning experience as well. You really are able to, I say, like, anytime you play a show, it's kind of practice. It's like going to the gym and working out a muscle. And you would expect after doing something a repeated amount of times with routine, it gets better, both as individuals and how we perform together. I think Bloom shows are always very we design them to be really high intensity and really cathartic, both for us as musicians performing, but for people in the audience as well. I think the style of music that we write is really meant to be heard live. I think that's where it translates the best. And I think for us, with the hectic year we had last year, we were really able to refine our live show and take the things that we loved about it and improve them, and the things that we thought were low points or maybe didn't translate, we've kind of evolved and developed into something that we think is the best it's ever been.
Yeah, wow. And obviously, as you're talking about, no stranger to a stage, but also no stranger to a worldwide stage. So, how has playing outside of Australia and the overseas market helped shape you as a live band as opposed to playing shows here? Is there a difference to you?
There definitely is a difference. I think it's fun. It's a challenge.
Mm.
When we were, I'll use this American tour that we've just wrapped up on. Got home and did Christmas Eve, so pretty fresh in the memory. That show was interesting. Those shows were interesting. We were supporting Silverstein, and Silverstein
Oh,
are obviously they're a legacy sort of band. Early 2000s emo. They were doing a 25-year anniversary tour, and for us coming out there, I would say for on a good day, maybe 40% of the room knew who we are. On a show that's maybe not so much of a good day, maybe 10% of the room knew who we are. And every time we step out into that stage, we're the first band where we set the tone for the night,
mm.
and we have 30 minutes to sell ourselves. We have a 30-minute pitch. We have to pull out all the stops. We have to perform the best that we can, because these people in the room, this is for a lot of them, this is the first experience they're having of our band. And like I said before, like Blooms, I think where we work best is live. So we have 30 minutes where we get to play to people who might not necessarily be fans of metalcore. Maybe they like the softer Silverstein songs, which is completely fair and valid. But we have 30 minutes, and we are going to use every second of that 30 minutes to put on the best show that we can. I think one thing that's really nice with Bloom and having these different sounds and sonic elements that we tap into is we can really curate a set list for the tour that we're playing. I think for a Silverstein crowd, it's quite fun. We catch people off guard. We play a softer song like Keep You, which is like an emo ballad, and we follow it up straight away with like a drop tuned breakdown. And it's
Nice.
like, how is this the same? What am I watching here? And I think it catches people off guard. So
Yeah,
I
nice.
really like the challenge of playing to a new crowd, and the start of the set where they're kind of looking at you like crossed arms, and maybe they're checking their phone, and by the end of the set you've got them banging their heads and everyone's taken some steps forward. That's always such a rewarding feeling.
Yeah, nice. I feel like you're the kind of person and the kind of band that also then stays on to watch the other bands and learn from them. because
Absolutely.
I interviewed Shane from Silverstein when they were coming out, and that dude knows his stuff, man. Such a genuine dude, and
Yep.
learning from people like that who have been in the industry for that long, surely that helps the band along too, right?
Absolutely. I think, there's so much value in the performance, but there's 24 hours in a day and we play for 30 minutes of them, which means for the rest of the day, we're either, well, I guess for a lot of the time we're driving or sleeping, but for the rest of the time, we are surrounded by people who, in most cases, are much more successful than we are. And there is so much information and resourcefulness that you pick up from conversations, from even just seeing how other bands operate, sort of the level of professionalism that some bands bring, maybe sort of preset rituals, how they take care of themselves and their bodies on tour. There's so many things that you just learn and you take on. And I think the end result of that is that you just become better. You are practicing your show every night. I say practicing like you're still performing, you're still giving it everything. It's not you're not pulling any punches or anything, but you are doing that repeated activity, and every moment around that you're seeing other people performing and how they do it. And these bands like Silverstein that have been around for 25 years. I mean, they've been around for 25 years and they've been successful for that long for good reason. And
Mm,
you really start to learn and pick up on how to carry yourself and how to be the best version of yourself while being a touring musician.
excellent. I love that. Now, let's talk about new music because you released your second album, The Light We Chased, last year. Now, you wasted no time whatsoever. The year before with the debut, what was the idea behind releasing something so close to the first album?
It was almost a little selfish, I think. We started Maybe Another Life, the debut album, in 2022. About this, like I want to say it was like March, April 2022, and then we released it in 2024. So for us, by the time that album came out, those songs, we love them to death, but they were feeling a little old. They were feeling like maybe I've heard these songs, maybe I've seen this Dropbox link with the album in there a few too many times. And once that album came out, we loved the reception of it, but we kind of knew that we wanted to follow it up pretty shortly after because we had been writing and we had music and we had material and we had a concept. And I think we learnt so much from the rollout of the first album, and we're a little frustrated with, it took so long to go from inception to release. Like, let's do the opposite. Like, let's start there. We started the album in January of 2025 and released it in October, with the first single coming out in August. So we did not, and we toured amongst that. I think if I recall the sequence of events, January we recorded, February we were in Europe, March we were in Japan, April we recorded, May June we were on tour in Australia. Oh, I've skipped a tour. We were also on tour in January with Trophia. Like, the reason I sort of bring this up is we were so heavily in the sauce. Like, we were just, the pot was simmering, and if we weren't touring, we were writing. If we weren't writing, we were recording. If we weren't recording, we were doing music videos. And because we had stayed so locked in the process, it just meant that, you know, there wasn't, we were just able to accomplish a lot more, a lot quicker. And, cut forward to October, we got to release an album while we had an off day in Paris and we drank champagne at the Eiffel Tower to celebrate. So it was a pretty perfect year.
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. You talk about playing 30 minutes before and then, oh, maybe, sleep and whatever. When do you sleep? Like,
Yeah, I guess when I put it like that, it doesn't take, releasing an album's hard, but I still got a good 8 hours each night. I
okay,
wasn't losing too much sleep. It's only a couple of nights a week where maybe you have to pull a late night to get some assets across the line, or it's funny working with different time zones, having meetings with the label and doing US press at 6 a.m. So it does come with a little bit of lost sleep, but not too much. I'm still
amazing.
maintaining a good balance.
You have the cutest dog in the world, by the way.
I am being absolutely swarmed. I have a cat right next to me here. I have a dog behind me. Yeah, I've got visitors. They're hanging out.
Best. Now, you've been at this since 2017, right? Over the time, things can change. It's very easy to say what can change, but what's the one thing that's always remained the same about Bloom?
Mm. I think I think we've always maybe this is a bit of a cop out answer, but I do kind of I'll back myself here. I think we've always done a really good job of sticking true to what we want to do and backing ourselves. I think our sound has evolved a lot over the years, and we've taken sort of risks, and we've maybe with our first releases, we stayed within these confines, and then maybe another life we kind of pushed it to here, and we backed ourselves. And then with the light we chase, I mean, there's an acoustic song on there, there's an emo ballad, and then there's like a really heavy breakdown in the song afterwards. And I think we've never really been afraid to back ourselves and believe in ourselves. I think that stayed pretty true. Everything that we've done and everything that we've released at the time that we've written it and the time we've released it, it has felt very true to who we are as musicians. And I think that can also be true lyrically as well. A lot of the way that we write our lyrics sort of as a collective. It's not one person's thoughts. It's a lot of the time it's we develop this concept and everyone contributes towards it, and we write together. And I think we try to be as literal and earnest and sincere in the way that we write our songs, and even how we deliver a live show. I think sincerity and being earnest and relatable is really what people connect with a lot with our music. And I think that's been true regardless of the era of Bloom that you look at.
Yeah, excellent, man. Continue that. Now, you've obviously got aspirations, you've got goals. What's something you want to do as a band that you haven't yet had the chance to do?
Oh, we have done so much. We've ticked off so many milestones. It's been hard to take a moment to stop and think. I'd love to do arena shows. I don't think we're there yet. But I'd love the opportunity to play, like a Horden Pavilion, or maybe a Kudos or a Rod Laver. I think we've kind of flirted with it with some of these rooms we were doing in America. We were playing some pretty big, like 3,000, 2,500, like sort of bigger rooms. And I think I'd really like the chance to I like to test myself and kind of push, how our live show translates. We've been we can nail a club show like there's no tomorrow. We're good on that. No barriers, stage dives, mic grabs, all of that. That's safe. That's safe territory. But I think doing sort of that big level with more production and a lighting show and a lighting package with more foresight and intention behind it, that feels like the next step for us to take as a band. And we're starting to do that with this headline tour that we've got coming up. It's the first time we've put more thought into, okay, how is the set list going to flow, and
Mm.
lighting, and how are we going to build a really solid live show. So I think
Okay.
that's kind of the next milestone.
Yeah, excellent. All right. And lastly, what I do with everybody, prediction time. Finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2026, Bloom will.
Whoa. Bloom will. I can only think of joke answers like, buy me a Lamborghini. Um, Bloom will. Whoa, shit. Bloom will have over 100,000 monthly listeners. There we
Okay.
go. Something
Yeah,
superficial, but I need to see the 6 digits.
yeah, I love that. All right. Thank you so much for your time, mate. What a pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you, man.
Thanks, mate. Talk to you. Thanks for checking out our interview with Jono from Bloom. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to our channel, and check out maytherrockbewithyou.com for much more.